Hello and welcome to Happy Cells and Souls. My name is Julie Powers and I'm a licensed Zumba instructor and I'm a business partner with the Juice Plus company. And my missions in life are to help people understand that life is better when they're dancing through it and to inspire healthy living around the world. But my expanded mission is to create better health at the cellular level and more joy at the cellular level. Because we only get one body, so we have to take care of it while we're here. And while we're here, we're supposed to spread joy and love and light into the world. And so that brings us to this conversation that we're going to have right now with Chris Hutson. And I'll tell you what, I have met so many people through my life, and it doesn't matter what backgrounds we come from, we can all learn from each other. And what I have learned from Chris Hutson is that light doesn't just happen. You have to pick the right light. If it's not coming from inside us, because what did Martin Luther King Jr. say? He said, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can. And hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. So Chris Hutson, you are the lighting specialist. You have created lighting in my home and in so many of my friends' homes, and you own a business in Farmington, Missouri called CJ Lighting and Fans. So I would love for you to share a little bit of your story with us and help us learn a little bit more about the importance of light in our lives, in our homes. So tell us a little bit about how you even got started in this business.
Yeah, it's a great story. I started out just working at a electrical warehouse. I answered the phone. So from there, they needed lighting help in Winsville, Lake St. Louis area. And so that kind of blossomed into everything. And I was like a sponge. I took it all in and I went to all these classes and courses and I just kind of soaked it right up. I had a little girl and I had a lot of drive. So that just kind of started all of it. So I became a lighting specialist probably about 10 years later. So, and just it kept evolving, into this great business that we have for the last 4 years.
Right. So you actually worked for someone else until 4 years ago.
I did, yes. I was anywhere from a lighting specialist. I did all the counting. So I know all the ins and outs of running a business. So I was a showroom manager on top of, working with clients with new construction, remodel jobs, and even commercial jobs. So yeah, I was driving back and forth to St. Louis, to Farmington. I was just sick of the drive. And I only did that for a year and I was over it. So from there, I said, I need to make a change in my life. So here I am.
Yes. Well, you know what I love about that, though, is that you had this passion for what you were doing, but you were kind of tired of building somebody else's dream when you knew it all inside and out and you had the expertise. So why not build your own dream with your husband? So that's great that you were able to find the space that you needed. Originally, it was in a different location from where you are now. And you've been able to expand where you are now into having a lot more space, almost doubled your space, right? And so you help a lot of people. You don't just deal with lighting and fans. You have other gift items as well, but your expertise is in the lighting, and you are more on the retail end and helping people choose what is going to be best for them, whereas your husband Joe is on the installation end and he has installed many lights for us.
Yes,
And, so we appreciate his experience level and his knowledge. So can you tell me what you love about what you do?
So not just the interaction with people. I love to help people, help them love their lights, light their home up. If it's anywhere from, the style, helping them choose that style that they love, or give them the best light source that they can in that space. I just, and if I get a chance to go out to people's houses, which I do often, I go to their houses if it's remodel or new construction. And I love that part. I can see the guts, the bones of what I'm doing. And I do it with home decor too. People ask me, can you help design? There I go. I just kind of I kind of evolved now into home decorating, those skills there too. It is all revolves around design. The
That's great.
design.
So you have really built a whole business around creating the most comfortable and inviting space for your customers. And like you said, lighting is so important. So, like in my home, we have very low ceilings. It's a very dark home. So we rely on a lot of artificial light. And so knowing what to get, I'm just scratching my head. But luckily for us, we were able to say to you, help us, please.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when is the best time for someone to come to you for help in the, remodeling process, or if they're building a brand new home? When is it that they need to say, okay, now's the time for the light selection?
Yeah, in this day and age, with everything that's happened the last 2 years, we need to do it. You need to do it almost just hop right on it, right when you get those floor plans, and even when the ground is breaking, or if you know you're gonna remodel job, start right away on the lighting. It's just like ordering appliances. You got to start right away because unfortunately there are back orders stuff, but that's probably the biggest challenge right now is back order issues. And but I always tell everybody, start it right away. Get it done. We know the placement of the lights. If we need to change any of that stuff, so we've got to do placement, size, and there's a lot involved into selecting the fixtures, your jewelry of the home.
Right. The jewelry of the home. Yes, that's lovely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I do know, like from our home was built in the 70s, in the early 70s. And so there's some funky things, about a home that was built that long ago. And we have archways in, our home. And so that created a problem for replacing lights because of the wiring that would have had to be done. And we would have had to tear walls out in order to put the lights in that we wanted. So fortunately, your husband Joe knew what he was doing, and he didn't start the project before he had to get down and start tearing out our walls. And so I would think that a remodeling project is even more important to start in advance, to make sure that you've got all those things kind of figured out
That is
before you
correct.
put the walls up and the ceilings, and
Mhm.
kind of pigeonholed yourself.
Yeah, before you tear the whole house down, that's right. You gotta get your plan in place. Yeah.
Right, right. And so now today there are so many options for people. And there's all the LED lights that when they first hit the market, whenever that was years ago, they all looked so cold and artificial and horrible glaring LED lights. But that's not the case anymore, right?
That is not the case. Yes. So if most people, when they come in and ask for LED, some people just absolutely don't want LED. Well, they've had issues with going to the box stores. That's why they've picked up any old bulb, popped it in, and just some god awful white blue color, and
Right.
it's not pleasing to the eye, or to anything in the surface. If you've got the there's lots of color temperatures these days, and that's really important. And that's why I'm here to help anybody, explain it to them, give them a little bit of knowledge if they don't already know what all the color temperatures and the lumens are. That's why I'm here to help walk them through that right type of bulb to put in that right fixture or in their LED.
Right. And I know that I relied on you for that. So can you give us like a real quick tutorial on,
Mhm.
daylight versus blue, and the different numbers that people need to look at whenever, or, even to start asking about?
Yes. So the color temperatures start at 1800. Really, most people are familiar with 2700, but jumps 1800, 2200, 2700, 3000, 3500, 4000, 5000.
And what do those numbers actually represent?
So those numbers represent, if you've got 1800 to 2700, those are warm tones. More orange in the 18 and 2200 Kelvin temperatures. And then it goes to it goes to 27, which is really appealing to most residential areas. 2700 Kelvin temperature is the best. So it'll say on the box 27K or 2700K. And then it jumps to 3000. 3000's awesome for like a kitchen in your can lights. So the 3000's great. When you're getting into your 4000s to 6000s, it's more so for commercial. If you got a big old garage, utilitarian area that you're trying to light up, commercial space mostly,
Mhm.
churches, hospitals, those are those. But sometimes I'll have retail come in and they want that for the 5000. I'm like, okay,
Like you
what's
want it really, really bright.
we want that you, we'll give it to you.
Ah, right. So one of the other questions that I think a lot of people would need to find out about in advance is if they want things to be dimmable or not.
Yes, that
So
is
tell us
key.
what people need to know about that.
So, not all LED lamps are dimmable. The bulbs themselves are not dimmable. Um, so that's key. If you use an LED dimmer on the wall, you got to make sure your LED bulb is dimmable, and it says pretty clear on the box. It says it's dimmable. So those are two key things. And they'll tend to be a little bit more in price than your non-dimmable ones.
Well, and two, one thing that I learned is that if you have an older home, like mine had the little round dimmable switches from,
Mhm.
circa 1972. And with the newer lights, they didn't work. They
No.
had a funky buzzing sound, but Joe knew to replace the outlet itself and the switch so that it wouldn't buzz and it worked properly. And so
That's
that's
correct.
something too that you guys know about and you can inform customers as to how that's going to work, but only if you know what's there to begin with, if it's a remodel. And so that's why it's great that you're able to go into people's homes and look at that and give them, the right advice in advance. So
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
good.
that's good.
So what questions do you find that most customers ask you?
So one big question the minute they come in, other than LED bulbs, they ask about LED bulbs all the time. Um, is they want to know if the fixture, what's the current trend? If they don't already know a little bit, they want to know if the fixtures, how trendy it is. That's a good question. I can only bring in, I'm constantly, I went to market this year in Dallas a couple weeks ago. And so I'm trying to always keep like your current trends in the store. Um, that's one of the main questions is how trendy is this or what's the current trend
Right,
on the fixtures?
right. And one thing that I have kind of learned, and I am not a home decorator. Anybody who's been in my house knows that I really don't care. I do not have a magazine home. It is not Better Homes and Gardens in my house. It is all about comfort and just living here. It's not a showcase. But I think that it's important when people are picking out their lighting fixtures to, if they know they're going to live there for a very long time, then you pick out what you love. And if you know you're going to be only, living there for a couple of years and then you're going to want to sell it, you need to go by the expert advice and get something that's going to be more generally appealing to everyone, right? And so,
That's exactly right. Hmm.
yeah, and so you have to know, like, we've lived in this house for 21 years and we're probably going to live here for another 10 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
pick out things that we like. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I remember one time in your store, we were looking at some lights that you said that people were doing outdoors for outdoor decks and patios that really weren't meant to be outdoor lighting. And you were cautioning them. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Part of the job.
so can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what do you need to know if you're looking for outdoor lighting and not just
Mm.
inside the home? What are some things that you need to make sure you do properly?
So the bulbs themselves, I mean, they really so when you have an outdoor wall light, the bulb is covered, has glass covering it, okay? So when you do a chandelier outside, if it's on a big old patio or whatever, it it still technically needs to be covered, but since there's so much already coverage overhead, it'll probably be okay.
Hmm.
Just like ceiling fans, people use indoor ceiling fans outside. Well, the blades will warp.
Hmm.
Um, there might be electrical issues with that, you know, with that fixture if water does get into it for sure. So
Hmm.
as long as it's really covered and there's not going to get any like big, huge rainstorm that blows in there and gets in that socket, that's my big cautionary. And I always tell everybody just it's not outdoor rated. But if this is something, there are outdoor rated ones. The bulbs are covered completely.
Right, right.
So
I think that's really important to know in advance, because is there any, besides the fact that the fan blades warp if they're not specifically meant for outdoors, and that the lights might go bad, the bulbs might go bad. I mean, is it a danger? Is it a safety issue?
no, I mean, it might just short the fixture out. The longevity of the fixture won't be as long. That's
Okay,
that's pretty much the main thing. Yeah.
right, right. Um, can you tell me about a place that you helped get all the lighting for that you are most proud of?
Oh, there's so many, Julie. I can't tell you. So I've done. I have to tell you. So when I was not outside of my business, outside of this business,
Hmm.
this was about 6 years ago. I did a house, and um, it was near Clayton, kind of Ladue area, and it was ultra modern, really modern. And you don't get the opportunity to do that many modern homes, especially not here in Farmington, because
Right.
most of these are farmhouse style or more traditional or trained. So that was a pretty fun job because I did a lot of contemporary. I got to think outside the box and just do some cool spiraled chandeliers with crystal on them. There's chandeliers everywhere with crystal, but they were all modern. So
Oh,
that
neat.
was just a lot of fun because it's not like I get to do that often. But
Right,
but
right.
here in Farmington, I can't tell you. I've done so many. Right now, I'm working on one in Piedmont that uh, it's a log cabin, and we're putting a big antler chandelier in their home, and so that's I can't wait to see that one when it's completed. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you have, and this is totally, I mean, I just thought of this and I don't know if this is even something that you can do, but do you guys have a way that if someone brings in something that you have a supplier that can use whatever that is to create a light out of it, to build a light? Or can Joe do something like that? Like if somebody has a special, um, like a lantern that is a
Hmm.
family heirloom or something,
Yeah.
is there a way that you guys can hook up people to the right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah. So Joe he's rewired. He's taken lanterns, even those old gas oil lamps.
Uh-huh.
He's taken those and made a lamp out of it. So he can do it with chandeliers too. It just depends on the 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 item, But we always try. We do lamp repairs too, and so we've gotten that from lamp repairs. We've had to get creative about where to put the switches on it. So yeah,
Right.
so stuff like that can be done.
Ah, that's good to know. It's very good
Yeah,
to know.
we're
So,
not afraid.
that's great. We have about 2 minutes left,
Okay.
because it always flies by. And I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about anything that you think that would be helpful for people, or something that you would just love to share with people, whether it's about lighting specifically or about, things that you offer there at CJ Lighting and Fans.
Yes, ma'am. So, Joe and I just wanted to tell you, we have a lot of experience under our belt. We have over 30 years in lighting experience. Both of us do. So if there's a job, we'll try to tackle it. Just about any job, commercial jobs we've done around here as well. But just to let everybody know, we have not just what you see in the store, we have so many more lines. And just going to market in Dallas, I picked up quite a few extra lines in lighting and home decor. So we have we have a lot to offer. It's not just what you see in the store. So if there's something, pick our brain. I can pull it right out of the book typically. So
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
And so for those of you who are not in our area, if you don't live in a radius of Farmington, Missouri, through the St. Louis area, southwest, east, whatever, like if you're not in our area, there's probably a lighting store near you that is a home owned mom and pop shop that's not a big box store, that you're going to get the best service. And you probably want to go with somebody who has a lot of experience and is really wanting to help you get the right thing, just like Chris and Joe do at CJ Lighting and Fans. So thank you so much for sharing your story and bringing all that light into the world. And so many people love you and appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Julie. I appreciate it. Joe and I appreciate it. We really do.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.